ladies and gentlemen. Let's say welcome. Welcome, everyone, to tonight's regular council meeting for Monday, March 9th, 2026. This is the call to order. Can I have everybody rise currently, face to this direction towards the American flag? Mr. Staten, can you please lead us? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd just like to first ask for just a little attention. At this moment in the history of our country, we are going through something that we all recognize as there are actually people out there protecting our country. And I just want to recognize all the first responders, especially our men in uniform, both veterans and active duty that are protecting our country. And just have a moment of silence for those who've given it all to our country. Just a moment of silence, please. Thank you for that. Roll call, please. Mrs. Zacher.
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Mr. Dorsey.
Yeah.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Staten.
Here.
Mr. Owens.
Yes.
Fiscal Officer. Justin, you want to go ahead and present?
Good evening, Council, Village of Batavia. 2025 is complete. The files are up, available for public viewing, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. Need a motion to approve January bank reconciliation. It's complete. Just about finished with February. Couldn't get it in time, though.
Could I have a motion to approve minutes from February 9, 2026 Village of Batavia Council meeting?
So moved.
Mr. Gardner. Second?
Second.
Mr. Smith? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Motion to approve January bank reconciliation. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Dorsey. Second? Thank you, sir. That was Mr. Dorsey.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. Second. And this one will be by, that's an all in favor. All in favor, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Ordinance 1558, -25, adopted 2026 full year appropriations budget. This is the third reading. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Staten. Second?
I'll second.
Mr. Gardner. By roll. Mrs. Zager?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Dorsey?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Staten?
Yes.
And Mr. Owens?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you.
At this point in time, I'd like Andy to step forward, please. And I'd like to ask Jennifer Haley, our administrator from the township, and everybody from the township, please step forward. I apologize.
Jennifer, the fiscal officer,
Yes.
you called her the administrator.
Oh, sorry, Karen. Karen, you too. You come up. Grab my list here. Karen, Jennifer. Thank you so very much. You know, sometimes we don't recognize enough, and some people say heroes. Heroes, oh, come on, Karen, come on up here. Come on here. Oh, you're going to get a picture? We can get a picture up here. We don't recognize heroes enough. And tonight, that's why we're here together. And I thank everybody who's out here, especially the Burns family and everyone else who's out in the audience. Thank you so very much for joining us tonight. Because it's very important to always remember that our first responders serve us every day. Even when we're sleeping, eating, and doing anything. Even when we're on vacation somewhere else, they're still here serving our county, our local districts, like our township, and our villages, and our country, like I just mentioned here about our veterans. So it's always very important to recognize the people who care about our community and our heroes. And I wish I can give all the first responders in the whole world medals. But tonight we're going to actually give something to these fine gentlemen that are back here. If you would like to stand, I'd give you Thomas Jester, Zachary Heiser, Hunter Farrell, and Isaiah Hartness. Would you like to step forward, please? And I also like to recognize, there are a few other people that I like to recognize. The 911 operator, Stacy Davidson, the Claremont County Sheriff's Office, Sergeant Bailey, Deputy Jester, I did not have their first names, but Deputy Cantor, and Sheriff Stratton. And at this point, Andy is actually I'm going to call their name, and I'm going to have the fire personnel come forward. Thomas, you'd like to come first? Thank you so very much. If you'd like to stand right there. Don't worry about standing in front of those people over there. Zachary. Thank you, Zachary. Hunter. Thank you. And Isaiah. Thank you so very much. Again, I apologize. Again, I wasn't there. If I would have been here, I would have loved to have been on the scene trying to help, but I wasn't. But they took care of everything. You really didn't need me. And I just wanted to say for you, gentlemen, it's an honor to be here with you, and thank you for everything you do for our community. Because like our police departments and our armed forces, you do it every day. You protect us. And I just want to say thank you for everything you've done for this lady and everything you did for this Burns family to get her out of harm's way and make sure her safety was the most prime and get her here today with you. And I just wanted to say thank you. Did you want to say anything at all? And can you do a round of applause for all these women? And also, I do want to recognize Jennifer Haley and Danielle. Thank you, Danielle, for all they do, because they're the people who actually do the support of all these fine gentlemen right here, and then Karen, wherever Karen is. Thank you, Karen. Thank you for everything you do. And God bless you all, and thank you for letting us being able to celebrate these heroes with you tonight. And God bless you all. And thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you again. And I want to mention something about these medals, these awards, and you'll see they both have the township on one side and the village on the other. I made sure that happened because both the township and the village recognizes you as heroes. And I just want to again thank you all, and thank you, Roy, for being here. God bless you, Chief. God bless you. Now make sure that these get to the sheriff's office. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I also also want to mention at this time for the Burns family, if you do not want to stay for the whole meeting, you do not have to, or you're welcome to stay and watch the proceedings, or whatever you like to do. Go out and have dinner together. Yeah, you're very welcome. It's a pleasure of meeting you and an honor to meet you. It's an honor. And I just wanted to say to the council, let's give them a few minutes. Thank you, council, for letting me be able to do that tonight. It's an honor to serve with you all. Okay. At this time, we're going to welcome the people who would like to do the public comment. And I think just as a reminder, you do have, there are 2 people, and you do have 3 minutes apiece. But again, thank you so very much for being here tonight. And I think our first one is Mr. Albright. Mr. Albright, you want to step forward?
Bill Albright again, outsider, Batavia Township, Marby Lane. Since public comments are still very first thing, welcome to the club. I mean, I hope you come here to make a change. I thought them 4 did, and I'm finding out that they ain't changing nothing. You said you was a firefighter. Got the feel-good story out of the way. Everybody appreciates what the firefighters do. It's these people up here sitting in these seats and up there in that township that screwed over that fire department. This irresponsible high-density housing. You were a firefighter. What's 140 more homes do to a fire department that ain't got no funding? What's 1,240 homes do to a fire department that ain't got no funding? They don't care. It happened with the last administration. They're going to continue forward. I'm pretty sure they all got elected to be a change. I mean, they're known for shady backroom deals. I hope you don't get involved in that. They got sued over sunshine laws. I mean, stuff should be discussed up here. That fire levy is coming up again in a couple months. If it passes, you all won't have a fire department. From the last records I got, you're $7 million in the hole. It's going to be hard contracting with anybody. I mean, there ain't no mutual aid if you can't return the favor. Everybody's worried about 4 tax abatements. The township's got 5 TIFs. They do more homes. They fight over each other, who gets the rubber stamp the next home. I mean, people want to change around here. Continuity, great work. Continuity, an uninterrupted connection, succession, flow, representing the state consistency without essential change. That's not what you guys got voted for. Your village gave up on you. You get rid of the cops, the firefighters. Nobody comes to these meetings. That sign in my truck's over a year old. Dissolve the village. I'm tired of the crutch between you and the township over there. If you don't give us a pass, the other one's going to get it. They're going to be worse.
Thank you, Mr. Albright.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, sir. You can. Yes,
I
sir.
would just like to say that, for the record, Bill, this council has done a lot of things that the other council has not. There's been a lot of change up here. We've met with the township on multiple occasions. We've had good dialogue about the future of the next fire department. We've had great dialogue with the Batavia local schools. I've met with them on many occasions since I've been elected to ask them, how does this vote affect you? How does this impact your budget? That has never happened by anybody else. I guarantee it. Yes, it has. It has. This is not the same council you're portraying us as. I think we have some brilliant people in the township. They've really made some good business decisions about how to save money for the township taxpayers for the fire department. And we have some, we've already been starting some talk about how we're going to fund our fire department for the village. So let's not lie and tell people that we can't afford a fire department because we can. I'm not either.
Doing great things behind the scenes. His exact words. You know who else told me that? Jason Gibson told me that. We're doing great things behind the scenes. You're public officials. That ought to be discussed right up here.
What I'm saying to you is just ask.
What's your plans if fire levy passes? That's a simple, direct question.
We're going to contract with the township. That's what we're planning on doing. It's pretty simple. We've already had this, we've begun talks with them. This is not a hard thing to understand. We've become a,
People out here would like to know instead of we're doing great things behind the scenes and in shady back rooms.
we've been saying it. We've met with them. We've had conversations with them. We're meeting.
Maybe public comments should be last.
We're going to have a work session meeting, and that's where we want you to come be
Mr.
part of
Albright,
this.
The next meeting will be open to, there is no limit on the amount of time for anyone that comes here the next time. You can
But
talk
don't
as long
call
as you
me a
want.
fucking liar because everything I say, I got proof to back.
I'm
up.
just
Every goddamn
I'm just
bit.
telling you that we are working hard up here and that we do have a plan for a fire department.
Well, include people in.
I don't think we've been hiding it. You have
Just
the,
ask, what is your plan with the fire levy?
right now the plan's to go with the township. We're gonna outsource with the township. That's the plan right now. It's not a hard concept, Bill.
And
$7 million in the hole, this place has a big problem with budgets.
Bill, that's the plan. You asked, the plan is to contract with the township.
And you called me a liar.
What you said was not accurate.
And Mr. Albright, the next time we'll have that meeting, it's an open session. It's going to be like a town hall for you. And you can ask more questions or remain there, whatever you'd like to do. Thank you. Thank you for the questions. Brian, who is that? I don't know that guy. Thank you, Brian.
This is the last official 3-minute time limit meeting. My heart skips a beat. Okay, so kind of piggybacking off what you said, Mr. Dorsey, like, of course, everybody here would want change right away. I think most people understand it takes some time. You guys would be held to account by decisions that were made prior to you, just like the township may be held to decisions that were made prior to who was in there, whether that's zoning or any type of things that were passed. We understand it. What I hope to not see anymore is good cop, bad cop. Like, township does good stuff. I mean, you would assume that me living in a township would be the good cop, you guys are the bad cops, annexing land from the township and building things like airport views or this other annexation across the street. My hope, and I've said this before, is I don't want to dissolve the village. I would like it to thrive. But if things don't change, you know, I think I would help Mr. Albright spearhead that. However, I am perfectly fine forwarding you guys the time to kind of get it straight. It sounds like you're communicating a little bit better than the last council. I certainly appreciate it, and, you know, we'll allow that time to happen. You know, we won't get frustrated. I do understand that. But addressing the annexation process in general, the most recent one being that annexation across Taylor Road by the airport, the decisions that were made by previous council and, of course, Ken Geis, let's say that goes through, you guys approve it. One end of the runway is going to be in the village, and one end of the runway is going to be in the township. I can't think of anything else that is a recipe for disaster of having two different municipalities with two different types of zoning regulations regulating that. There's a reason why the township denied what that property owner wanted to do, and there's a reason why you guys were approached. It's the good cop, bad cop. What can we get away with? So keep that in the back of your mind. Another thing I'd like to call to attention is Jeff Hayes is always here for Airport Views. He's the guy that stands to make the money on the development. I don't know the Beach brothers or who owns that property. I have no idea what they look like. They may be at the meeting tonight, but so far, I haven't seen them there. Every single one of us, me included, my father-in-law, Mr. Albright, we're township residents. We've come over a year and a half to these meetings because we have buy-in to it. We're not just trying to skate the rules, bend the laws. Keep that in the back of the mind when it comes to approving things. I would be interested, however, now that Ken Geis has graciously left his seat, what types of deals were made with Jeff Hayes? What types of deals were made with the potential of the annexation about that property across from the airport? We would like to know what was going on in the back room. One quick note, Chip, I sent a FOIA request over 2 months ago, sent a reminder email. I said, I got that. And then piggybacking here on the fire department and what happened here tonight. I know I'm over 3 minutes, but I feel like it's important. In the political world that we're all living in now, there's a saying that you never let a tragedy go to waste. You can apply political pressure either way to highlight your what's that?
I didn't understand it. You said a tragedy?
Well, scapegoating what could have been a tragedy.
Oh, yeah, I agree
You
with that,
understand
but
what I'm
no,
saying?
that
So,
wasn't a tragedy. I just want to make sure.
If the Burnses, I mean, they Texas two-stepped it out of the meeting. I don't think they're going to watch the rest of it, but hopefully she doesn't feel like I'm highlighting her situation for our benefit. But what I wanted to make a point is, when I was a fireman, I've told you guys before, Delhi Township's levies failed. When I was a fireman, we cut staffing like crazy. And over a year and a half, we've all from the community, whether it's on Facebook, at these meetings, have said, decisions have consequences. And Chief Short and the firefighters there, they rarely get an opportunity to speak to you guys as to what the effect could have been if fire department staffing is cut short. Like the chances of another truck flipping over in a river and water entering that truck with the potential for drowning probably aren't very high, but it only takes once. And my point here is, the previous decisions with tax abatements and fire departments and schools not being funded has an effect. And it might only be one time. And I assure you, everybody that got up to leave the meeting thinks that one time is worth it. So it's not just conjecture. It's not just anecdotal stories. It's the truth. I'm here to tell you, being a fireman 26 years, it only takes once. You cannot predict it. You would think New Year's Eve is the busiest night riding an ambulance. You might not make a call, and some random Wednesday night, you don't get an ounce of sleep. It's unpredictable. So my point is, you have to believe what the fire department, what the police department say. They need the staffing. They need the funding. I know it's a pain to have an increase in tax levies, to pay more money. It's just like insurance. I mean, if you own a house 40 years, never make a claim, think about how much money you spent on premiums. But the one time your roof comes in or your house is destroyed, it's like, oh, thank God I had it. That is the reality that we're living in. So the previous decisions that not a lot of you were involved with, just keep that in mind moving forward when it comes to annexations, when it comes to tax abatements. These are real-life consequences that may only happen once, but it's going to be important to families like the Burns family. I think that's about it. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the actions of the last council did have consequences. One of those was that with all the homes that were built that were tax abated, it forced the hand of the township to want to go on their own, right? Mm-hmm. Understandably, as we move forward, if this passes and we contract out, every one of our residents will be paying for the fire department because the village will be paying for that fire department and however that contract's written. But I'm sure it will have something to do like how many homes we have in the village and that kind of thing. So, one of the things I campaigned on was that we need to be a better owner. We need to pay our fair share. And ultimately, by contracting out, we'll be doing that.
Yep.
So,
and what the potentials are out there for the funding of the fire department, whether it's contracting, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I'll wait for you guys to present like the quote-unquote official idea in the township, and then we'll go from there. But also don't lose track of, it's not just tax abatements. Of course, it's kind of, seems to be the 90% of the concentration of everybody around because it's money. My point is, Airport Views, that subdivision, no one along Clough Pike has a house or a lot, really, that looks anything like what they want to build there at Airport Views at all. I'm not saying that those types of designs are bad, but there's a reason why people live on Clough Pike. And it was in the township. And the previous council decided to pull their backdoor deals, in my opinion, for the annexation. Also keep that in mind, not just tax abatements. Keep in mind that there's township residents with what they would like, and there's village residents what they would like. And obviously you guys are kind of responsible for the village mostly, but if you still hold the power to bend the original intent of the law for annexations, you also have the power to affect township residents and their homes and properties. Thanks for letting me go over 3 minutes. Yeah. It was, I don't know how many meetings ago. It had to do with the council or like the actual council or the council's counselor receiving a tax statement letter and a request for information about how the original ordinance for the zoning approval was approved unanimously, then a referendum got tied to it, and then Gibson, in a pretty slick move actually, rescinding that ordinance and then passing the same thing and then passing on an emergency vote. That triggered a few litigation processes. One of them included a letter. I asked Mr. Moore if anyone had received or seen something along the lines of a tax letter. He said no. I said, all right, I'll just request it. Sent the email to Chip to say, hey, have you received any, I can't remember the exact verbiage, but essentially it was around the idea that there was something that the council or the village was made aware of, that procedures weren't followed, and I was just waiting to see the receipt of
Can-
that
Can-
letter.
Can you forward that email to me, please?
I can.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I just got response from our legal at the end of last week, and I haven't had a chance to send that document. It's not actually not the document, but the response from our legal department to Mr. Wanstrat.
Is it reasonable to say that we can have that within the week?
I can send him the response tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. So you can email it tomorrow. And another point was the answer or the diversion around even the receipt of it, if that makes sense. So my question may not have been termed correctly in the sense of, oh, did I receive it? Well, I'm not sure who it was addressed to. Like when I think of Mr. Moore or the council in general, it's just like a big umbrella that covers everybody. I asked a simple question that was very direct to what I was requesting. I might not have had the verbiage correct on the title of that letter or the type of letter, but it was, we haven't received any of it, which is why then that triggered my FOIA request to say, okay, anything that could fall under the umbrella of a tax letter, something from outside an attorney addressing the decisions and that referendum being rescinded, it was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Yep. Yep. And I don't think that any of you guys have demonstrated that at all, in my opinion. Anything else? I'm going to miss these 3-minute time limits there, Mr. Mayor.
That's like 13, 14 minutes. Thank you, Brian. Council, I'm going to, Mr. Gardner just wants to say a few reflective words.
Sword. I just want to address some of the things that were talked about that we have been working on and give everybody a little bit of update. As far as with the fire department, I am a member of the fire board, so I attend those meetings. But I have also met with the township administrator, our administrator, would you with us? No, it's just the administrator and I, met with township officials discussing where we would be with that and what would go. So at this point, the only thing that we can say is that we have not an exact number by any means, but we have a number that we roughly are looking at for contractual services. But for that to happen, we can't do anything until their township levy fails or passes. Hopefully it passes for them. And if it passes, then we will have hard numbers to be able to bring to residents and say, look, you know, this is what it's going to cost. This is how we're going to fund it. We have different ways that we're looking at funding it. Some ways could possibly be savings to our property owners in the village. But with the fire department, we are not ignoring it. We are working on it. As far as with the school, the mayor, myself, Mr. Staten met with, and the administrator, Mr. Stewart, we met with school officials today. Again, that meeting was set up trying to bridge the void that's been between the village and, excuse me, the village and the school. So with that today, we talked about some joint ventures to working together on a good faith from the village's part, which is something we're going to discuss and probably take action on tonight, hopefully, is we went to the school and said, because of past council's actions, we know that put a financial burden on you. With that being said, we are going to pay the expenses, the full expenses for both of the school resource officers to the school, so they will no longer be paid, paying the village anything for those services. Of course, they definitely were all on board with that. And we've talked about, again, I'm not going to go into detail, but some other projects. The superintendent and Chip will be working together on some of those projects. As far as with the township, there are officials here now that will tell you we've had meetings with them on several different things, working to get this relationship between the township and the village to where we're working together as one, more or less, as one community instead of seeing who does what to what. So those are going very good. As far as abatements, I will say personally, I will not speak for all of council, but I believe we all feel the same. We're not going to give residential abatements. We know the burdens that it puts on everything with that. If only abatements that we would possibly consider would be business abatements, and it would be larger businesses. With that being said, we even discussed that with the school today, and it said something that they would possibly even entertain that and wouldn't be upset with us. So just trying to give some information out there. We've only been on council, this is our third month, and the strides that we've made that a lot of people don't see, will see in the future that we're making to go forward to make this village, the township, and we hope to at some point have a very good working relationship with Claremont County as well. So I just wanted everybody to know that's where we're at in those things, so.
Yeah, if I could add to that, I think the biggest thing that came out of the meeting today and the most valuable thing is an open dialogue with the village administrator and the school superintendent, and an agreement between the officials at the school board members, and ourselves to meet at least quarterly and discuss issues that are going on with both and how we can partner into things. And I believe you'll hear from Mr. Runk later on this evening, maybe a little more details about our meeting that we had today. And remember, all of this is tentative. Both boards will have to approve it, but I found it a very good meeting.
And if you don't mind, can I do that now? Does the council mind that I do that now? Since we're talking about this. it's a new beginning. It's like what happens when a wave hits the beach. Either if you're a surfer, I'm not a surfer, I'm a kayaker. Either you're going to fight the wave or you're going to go along the wave. And I think even today, this evening, it's nice to see that the township even came to this. Because I invited them, and I was openly invited them, and actually each one of the medals that were given out today for the fire personnel who saved the young lady's life had the symbol of the Batavia Township on it. There has to, and again, change has to happen, and change is moving forward. And yes, it's only been 3 months for this council, and they're doing amazing work. But the saddle up on what happened at the meeting today, what a great meeting. I noticed a aura of difference even in our superintendent. He was more inviting. It just was different. When you can see the difference in people, you can tell right away. And I saw that. And I saw the difference in the school board members. And I don't know if they want to chime in on seeing the difference. We did speak a lot about what we both can do symbiotically to help each other. And they offered, we asked about the properties that are adjacent to, in the village, the high school and the elementary school, old elementary school property that's on Broadway. To be able to utilize that for the village of Batavia. I've heard since I even was on council, that the village needed something, a park. And I even think Mr. Staten mentioned something about a park to be recognized as even more of an entity of a village. This is our possibility of getting something like that. Now, does the school district, and I don't want to tell you I'm not here to tell them their plans, but I think their plan is probably in the future to have something, a building there for education. But they were even inviting what we could build and not have to tear down once they build. So they were very, very meeting our needs. And then also opening it up, because we have the 250 celebration for our United States of America, 250 years. And I think Mr. Stewart actually asked, the current pool that we have up on top of the hill is not going to be able to let us use the fireworks. And there was a question even to that, saying, can we utilize either one of your properties to be able to fire those fireworks off? Sure. There's a difference there. Instead of saying, no, we don't want to do that because of our relationships. And even one of the school board members says, whatever happened before, let it go. This is a new beginning for us. This is a new path forward. And that person was very, very inviting to that. And again, that aura exists. And they said, whichever one we choose, and did they choose which one we're going to use? Okay. So that was offered to us. And I'd like to recognize Mr. Gardner for doing his due diligence on finding out things about this, especially with the CJ Fed. Thank you for all your hard work that you've been doing. And then also, there was a few other things.
There was a lot
Go ahead.
a lot of discussion with different possibilities, like you said, the parks, the use of the property for the 250. And again, what Mr. Staten stated, I think was the biggest one, is they suggested, and we all agreed, meeting the quarterly.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge step forward between.
And again, that movement forward is really showing now. And just give us a few more months. This council is an amazing council. They'll do their due diligence and work very diligently. I've already seen so much come out of this council, and thank you for doing that. Please, if you want to interject anything, Mr. Staten or Mr. Gardner, that you also heard. Okay, 'cause I think and what's really kind of interesting, because someone had mentioned way before, there wasn't a lot of transparency. This is trying to be as transparent as we can. And I think we're trying to be as transparent as this council, as we're doing now, and that's what we like doing, and that's what we're going to continue to do. I think that's it for me. Anything else, any other council wants to be recognized to speak, say anything? Okay.
Do the chief now and finish your whole topic.
Yeah, and while we're speaking of our first responders, do you want to do the? Yeah.
Knock yours out.
Okay. You don't need to do the chief.
Sure.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure. There is a resolution, is it a resolution? It's a resolution to take the chief of police off of his, it's basically his probation. Chief, you'd like to stand up for a second? Where's Chief? There he is. Hey, Chief. And at this point in time, I would just like to have anybody, if you want to say anything, if you have anything to say about that, please feel free to talk to the chief or find out any other information, because his is next. I figured that we would do this after that, but does anyone have any questions for the chief to be recognized as getting off his probation? Do we take it by vote?
Chief, I'd just like to thank you for your hard work. I enjoyed at our last safety meeting, sitting down with you and Lori and your team, and it was just really refreshing that you guys have goals
Give it a
and
snot up.
you got big plans for here, and I just appreciate your leadership that you've been doing here in Batavia, and happy to have you.
So let me just go ahead and read this record of service. Chief Williams was hired as an at-will employee as part of his terms and the conditions of the agreement entered into the chief at the time. His employee and parties agreed to waive the application in Ohio with respect to the statutory rights under the Ohio Revised Code regarding process and procedure related to determination to an agreement. Does not otherwise provide for a probationary period. To the extent of the revised codes in section 737.17 provides a 6-month probationary period and further provides that the mayor or a mayor at the end of his such 6-month probationary period shall transmit to the legislative body, which is the council of the village, a record such as an employee's service with recommendations thereon. I am hereby notifying council that it is my strong recommendation that Eric Williams, to the extent of section 737.17 may apply to be removed from probation. Do we have a motion by council to? And that is all by? All in favor? Congratulations, Chief. You can step forward, and thank you for being here tonight. Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Mayor.
Do I need to sign this? Oh, it's your code.
Mayor, Council, the February 2026 report. On Tuesday, February 17th, the Batavia Police Department, as a member of the Claremont County Chiefs Association, was invited to a press conference at the Claremont Mercy Hospital. The event was to award the Police Department of Claremont County new AEDs for all the vehicles on patrol on a daily basis. The AEDs were awarded on behalf of the Heart Restore Program in association with the Kiwanis Club, the Batavia Rotary Club, Mercy Health, and Christ Hospital. We would like to express our sincere thanks and gratitude for these life-saving tools that will help the health and safety of the residents of the Village of Batavia. On Monday, February 23rd, the Safety Committee met for the first time with the new council members. The committee discussed current state of the police department. Our discussions consisted of recent and future equipment purchases and possible personnel needs moving forward. The committee was also introduced to our replacement for Officer Easterday. The totals for last month were 261 calls for service, 47 traffic stops, There were 3 arrests, 17 citations, 38 warnings, 4 crash reports, 4 office reports, 8 incident reports, and 23 public record requests. For my first personnel action, I'd like to call Officer Brian Fletcher up. Mayor, council, I'd like to present Officer Brian Fletcher for promotion to corporal to fill our vacant position left by our previous canine handler. Officer Fletcher grew up in the village of Batavia, graduated from Batavia High School, then enlisted in the Navy. After separating from the Navy, he graduated from the Police Academy, took a position with Manchester PD in 2012. He joined Batavia PD in 2015 as a part-time officer, then moved to full-time in 2018, for a total of 12 years of service to the village of Batavia. I'd like to ask council to accept this personal action to promote him to corporal.
Motion.
All in favor? All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing no. Motion passes.
Thank you, sir. For the second personal action, I'd like to call up Officer Christopher Beckman. Officer Christopher Beckman, I am asking for permission to hire Officer Beckman to fill Officer Easterday's position. Officer Beckman grew up in Westwood area. He graduated from St. X High School in 2012. After he graduated, he attended University of Cincinnati, where he graduated with a bachelor's degree in special education in 2015. He attended the Butler Tech Police Academy in 2015, and then took a position with New Richmond Police Department, where he's been employed for the last 7 years. Mayor?
Do I have a,
I would like to ask council's permission to hire Officer Beckman, which you already granted, but I was bringing him to let council meet him.
and thank you for doing that. Do I have a motion to recognize Kirsten Beckham and to become a sworn officer of the Village of Batavia?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Opposed? Anyone in opposition? Motion passes.
That's the end of my report. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Thank you, Chief, and congratulations to your personnel.
Thank you,
Appreciate your
sir.
service.
Absolutely.
Council, do you have any other further questions for Chief? Thank you so very much for your attention, Council. I do have one letter here. This is from a resident. She has family in the village. It says, my name is Penny Zermley, Ironton. If so many people may recognize Penny Zermley, there is a Zermley on the sheriff's office, Zermley, that family. I own a property on 260 Edith Avenue. I grew up in the house and bought it from my parents' estate and have been renting it to some people. And there was a problem with that. In the 1st of February, there was some problem with not being able to pay the rent. She asked our police officers to help with that. Later that evening, the officers called me just to get, and I can give this letter to anybody who'd like it as public record. And I just want to extend my thanks to the police department for helping one of our residents with something that happened to them. They needed us, and our office met the call for that. And again, this is from Penny Zermley, Ironton. And basically, like I said, it's a thank you for the police department and chief for being there on call and helping them with the problem with that house. And again, if you want to read it in its full entirety, you can get that from me. It's also in back. We made some copies just in case you'd like some. Village solicitor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, sir.
I've been asked to speak faster than usual, but I did want to note that I think the GCL is represented here tonight. We have firefighters who went to LaSalle, I believe,
You say LaSalle?
and officers from St. X.
Oh, gosh. I was gonna say
Well, I noticed they're separated. Mike is going to kill me because I swore I'd be fast, but just keep on your sides, gentlemen. That's all I'm saying. In the last month, I did many things for council and for the village, most of which revolved around personnel and the upcoming zoning matter, which we've discussed previously. I am going to ask council that at the end of this meeting, we go to executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22 G3, just to talk about that pending case. It's going to be informational in nature only. I am not going to ask council to do it now so that if members of the public wish to leave, they can. But I would, following up on that, just wanted to note for council and for members of the community, I am the person who's going to tell you that I do think some things need to be kept quiet. That's my job as an attorney, and I'm going to not only own that, but I'm going to mention to council that in a couple of my other communities, the issue of NDAs has come up recently. And I know, generally speaking, the matter for the public is, NDAs, they want to know what their public employees, what their representatives are doing. I have begun to draft a piece of legislation for a different community that notes the fact that, generally speaking, NDAs are disfavored by at least two communities. And if council has a desire to review such legislation, I would be happy to substitute the name of this village and to review it. I do want everyone to know, though, that I do believe there are some instances in which clearly information needs to be kept private because for a classic example is, should the village wish to buy a piece of property? If we walk into a room and say, hey, we're going to buy a piece of property, how much? $100,000. I can tell you right now, the minimum price we'd ever pay for that property is going to be $100,000, if not more. On the other hand, I do understand with recent things we've read, it's probably disheartening to find out as a community that all of your legislative authority has been out talking about mega sites without ever bringing it before you. I'm not sure that a blanket NDA ever makes sense, and that's kind of a legislation piece I'm working on for other communities. If this council has an interest in reviewing such thing, I'm happy to provide a copy. Sure, and an NDA is obviously a non-disclosure agreement. But what we're finding is, or what you're reading about in the news, is that people are coming in and before they have any discussions about anything, they're just having people sign a blanket document that literally forbids the community and its representatives from speaking at all about what they're engaged in. And there are clear exceptions under Ohio Revised Code that allow for executive session and allow for matters to be kept private. A blanket NDA, I would really have to take a hard look at as council before I'd ever say we'd sign that. But I'm working on a piece set of legislation, and I've already heard at least 2 people say please do, so I will produce that for this council to review and consider as well. Other things in the last month that I just wanted to bring forth to council is we discussed how we're going to be moving to these town hall-esque meetings, and further thinking about it, I think what makes most sense would be just to keep it as a scheduled meeting. The reason for that is, while I believe we can have town halls, and as long as there's no decision-making, you can have any number of council there. If it's a scheduled meeting and council's there, council can more freely engage without the risk of somehow accidentally stepping over the line on what is a meeting or not a meeting. Call it a meeting, and the only agenda item at the meeting would be public discussion. There should be no other decision-making going on at that meeting that hasn't been noticed. But in that way, if council's there and they wish to ask questions or respond to questions, they can provide their opinions as well. I think that's probably a cleaner way to do it. It's just call it a meeting, but it's a meeting in which the only agenda item will be this public discussion we've been discussing for the last couple of months.
So if I may ask, if I'm correct in my assumptions, there are 4 things that Ohio requires you to do in the sunshine meetings, right? They require you to post the meeting date in advance. They require you to publish an agenda. They require you to take minutes, and they require you not to take any executive action or board member board action. Is that correct?
Correct.
So as long as we follow those 4 things, the right number of people can be there. That was going to be one of my questions, because I wouldn't want to give off that any of us weren't participating because we weren't interested.
If you find yourself at Grandma's Pizza and there's 5 members of council there, it's not a meeting. If 5 members of council sit down over a pizza and start talking about something as simple as putting in a new stop sign, now you've had a meeting. And that's how easy it is. That's why I'm saying it might be better just to call it a meeting, follow a little more formality, and then we can have a little more discussion back and forth, and everyone can weigh in then as well without risk of, I'd hate for someone to simply say that's a great point, have 2 people say that's a great point as well, and then have someone come in later and say decision-making was taking place. So I think I just would recommend that as an approach. I wanted to then also advise council that we have some parcels in the village that I have been advised we would be interested in turning over to Habitat for Humanity. In order to do that, council will need to move that those parcels are turned over to the CIC, and then we would need a brief CIC meeting. Can't be today because, again, we have to give notice, but a CIC meeting in which the CIC then gives me the proper authority to go ahead and actually give the deeds to signature to either the mayor or Mr. Stewart. But to do that, the first step, though, is at council. I do need council to consider a motion to turn the parcels over, and if Mr. Stewart could provide us with the parcel numbers as needed for these parcels. I understand that those parcels were previously offered, assuming council would agree to it. I'll say it under the prior makeup of council / administration. And Chip, if you could, where are those parcels?
Yeah, there are 3 parcels. One of them is a small parcel on 7th Street, and the other 2 parcels are at the corner of Kilgore and 8th Street. These are vacant parcels that have been vacant for some time now and kind of fit right in with the structure that Habitat for Humanity look for. These will be for sale properties. They're not Section 8 or anything like that. So whoever purchases these homes it'll just be like purchasing a regular home. But Habitat for Humanity is the one that actually built them.
So what would happen is the village through the CIC would give them to Habitat for Humanity. Habitat does what they do, which is they go out and they build a structure, a house on it. In this case, they would then sell the structure as part of their nonprofit organization. But pursuant to that, there would be an agreement that whoever buys the property has to keep it in good shape, has to make all proper payments on it, and has to keep it up. So what you wind up with is new housing within the community at an affordable price point for people who otherwise might have some difficulties getting into a house.
Check something? Sure. I think this was, if I remember right, I can't remember the date of this. I think when we entered into a discussion with the county to help us with, I can't remember what it was, but they asked us if that's something we could, as a village, possibly do if we ever have any developments happening here in the village and/or other residences that are possible, that we could do that. And I just remember that was actually entered into an agreement with Claremont County, if I'm not incorrect about that.
I believe that is correct. Final matter on my items today. Just wanted to briefly note for the members of the community, for council, one of my other communities recently did have a pretty significant cyber attack. And I just will say that the good news is they were able to, this is a non-tech person saying it, turn everything off in time. But the other nice thing is they had passed the same thing this council had, the statute that said, we're not going to negotiate with you. So I guess they got a couple of emails saying, hey, this is how much we're willing to do, and we'll turn your stuff back on. And I guess they took kind of delight in sending him back a response that said, no, thank you. But I really, the bigger part of it is, though, there are cyber pirates who are actively working in Claremont County, targeting communities.
Is what they do when they do cyber attack you, they actually hold you hostage until you pay a ransom, if that's not correct. That's right. So, to have a follow, council, is it all right with you? I just had a little note from our chief, Roy Short. May he come up forward and talk a little bit? He has the, he's ready just to talk to you about for the financials from last year. Is that correct, sir? For January.
And if I could, I wanted to note, I wanted to thank the chief. I forgot, you're on my list. And this is a matter of public record. The chief and his department was kind enough previously in 2024 to inspect the CRT property. And as part of that inspection, we will be using that inspection in our case that is going against Mr. Bach and CRT because the chief, from a fireside, noted multiple violations at the property. We previously talked about them at council, but to me, just looking at the outside of the property, they found effectively flammable canisters just lying about, which is generally speaking not a good idea. So I did want to thank you because you were here today and your name came up this week.
And before Mr. Moore leave, does anybody have any more questions for Mr. Moore? Thank you, Mr. Moore. Yes, sir.
Do we need to have some sort of like technology audit or our network looked at to make sure that we are as secure as possible? Or do we, I just didn't know like where we're at with that.
So as part of the legislation we did pass, we should have a technology officer. And I hate to do this to you, Mr. Stewart, it might fall under your current position or your prior position, but absolutely there should be an audit ongoing, if not on a regular basis, a semi-regular basis, to ensure that we're as, I don't want to say state of the art, but as state of the art as we can be, absolutely.
I mean, is it something we need to bring somebody from the outside in to make sure? I mean, not that he's not talented, but I'm just thinking that, you know, somebody that does it every day and that's what they do. I don't know.
Like a nexus or?
And I'm going to say it like this, very good questions. I don't know administratively, and I use that word for a reason, I don't know the answer as to what the best way to do it.
Currently, there was one piece that we didn't have in conjunction with what the state was requiring, and that was an off-site backup. That is being remedied now. We're actually, the servers that we have here in this facility are going to be backed up over at the Public Works Building. So I just got that server fired up this past weekend. We're getting the backup software installed on that, so we'll have an off-site backup there. Both of those backup servers are not on the domain. Most of your ransomware issues that happen occur because of the way that the backups are configured. And most of those happen when those servers are on the domain. So it's a lot harder for them to continue their hack from whatever hack they come in on to those backup servers if they're not on the domain, because the credentials are totally separate. They're not visible on the domain like a typical Windows network machine is. So we've got that going on. I do have people that if we want to, have them go through an audit and do an audit from an outside third-party source, that we can make that happen.
Mr. Stewart, would you mind looking into that to have an outside agency do that, the cost part of it,
Sure.
to take care of it? It would obviously alleviate some of the pressures on you, but we could, actually have a company that comes in and does that. Would you mind looking into it?
Yeah, I can do that.
And see, we don't want to hire an employee, but a company to do it.
Yeah, it'd be more cost-effective to just have a third party
Yes.
do the audit.
If you don't mind looking into that.
Will do.
Thank you. Also attended the township meeting this month and gave our January totals. Our February's will be given to the district board the third Monday of March. So here's our January totals for the district. Our total fire calls for January were 42, total EMS calls 398, for a total of 440 calls for service. Our EMS call breakdown for hospitals transported to, 45% of our calls went to Mercy Claremont, 13 to Mercy Anderson, and the remaining to other hospitals are non-transports. Aid for and with our community partners, our neighboring departments, we gave them aid 18 times in January and received aid from them 29 times, which is continuing our trend of using them more than we're providing to them. Inspection report for January, 6 sets of plans, building plans reviewed for $13 million valuation, 1 suppression test, 1 final test, 23 annual inspections, 14 re-inspections, and 1 foster home inspection. And our training hours for January were 149 hours of fire training, 80 hours of recruit training, 21 hours of driver's training, 107 hours of EMS training, 30 hours of fire officer training, for a total of 387 training hours in January. Those are our January numbers. Any questions?
I was going to say, Council, do you have any questions for Chief?
Chief, I have a question. I believe I saw on Facebook that you guys did some water training in the cold weather. Were any of the officers involved in the accident recently?
Were any of the
officers involved
That went through that training or that did that training, were they also involved in the accident?
Yes, all of the staff went through the training.
Everybody was involed in that training
Yes,
that you posted on Facebook?
100% of the staff was required to complete the cold water training.
All right. I was just curious about that since that popped up, I guess, a few weeks before the accident. Thank you.
And got to tell you, I couldn't be more proud of their actions that night. They have even commented that all that training pays off. They were on scene and had the young lady out in 4 minutes and 4 seconds. And that's amazing, and the training came through.
Well, we can't thank you enough for everything you do, you and your department. God bless you. Any other questions for Chief?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Last thing I'd like to say is congratulations, Chief Williams. He's been an amazing partner, and look forward to that in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. We'll also, we'll put that online for you. We'll get it online. Mr. Stewart?
Good evening. As far as zoning permits go for we're currently up to 36 for 2026. Streamside subdivision is at 12, Harvest Meadows is at 14. Zoning violations, we're still working on 9 violations and 4 in the court process. Zoning cases, we should have a final development plan for the Bunnell Hill development, either for April or May's planning and zoning meeting. From the administrator side, River Point Apartments, I did speak with Sonny again. They've got the dirt issue resolved, and I think as of today, they've actually got more dirt down there than they've had, so it looks like they're getting that done. They are trying to complete the water main relocate with the county. They hope to have that done this month and actually start development either towards the end of this month or the beginning of next month with actual moving dirt and spreading it around and getting that site going. I did hear back from Casey's. They plan on starting on that site on April 20th. So it'll start with a demo of the existing building and then the excavation and stuff to put their new building in. I did hear back from the county. We should have a idea sometime this month on when we'll be getting that grant money to extend the sidewalk from West Main Street down to the Clough Spur on the, I guess that would be the north east side of Foundry Avenue. No new update for the Harold Road intersection project. America 250 project, we just had a meeting last Thursday. We've started to receive sponsorship donations for that celebration. The township is taking care of getting the fireworks, and I think they've got that. We had to move the date from July 3rd on that Friday to July 2nd to accommodate the fireworks. As was stated earlier in the meeting, the school has offered to let us use either the Broadway property where the old elementary school was, or the Bauer Avenue property up on the hill where the former middle school was, to launch the fireworks for that. I kind of gave you an update already on the IT status. The backup server should be up and operational this week. The village sign, Norton's has submitted the applications for the permit for the sign. I haven't received a new word yet on when they plan to start constructing that sign on the Red Barn property. The Public Works Department is starting to prepare for spring projects this past week. Obviously with the rain, we've had some culverts that have been needed to be cleaned out. The service department did a great job in cleaning some of these out. I was actually out with Wayne Smith today looking at a couple of these, and it's amazing some of the size of the logs that they've pulled out of these culverts. So that continues to be in the works. Jacob Johnson, one of the new hires for the Public Works Department, has completed his probation. That was on March 2nd. And I'd like to see if we could get a motion to remove him from probationary status to full-time status. And the last thing I have is I'd like to request executive session to discuss economic development per ORC 121.22G8. We could do that at the end, yes.
Yeah, I have a question for, it might be for Wayne, but on the 32 at the Harold Road, I saw some of those, like, I don't know what you call them, but barrier sticks. A bunch of them are like knocked down. I don't know if it was from the snowstorm or the plows, or I just didn't know like how soon. We don't know when they're going to start, but I didn't know if like those need to be replaced or what the plan.
have a couple of items here at the end of Mr. Stewart's presentation, some things I think we need to take on as a council. One is the Batavia ordinances were last published December of 2013. We're 13 years behind in publish. Ohio Village ordinances in general and permanent nature are codified, organized, and published often annually to maintain a permanent searchable record. We've been very deficient in doing that. So at this time, I've got really about 3 motions I'd like to make. We do them individually because we can't direct the administrator individually, but I would like to, through motion, direct the administrator and the clerk to complete a couple of items and report back to us within 60 days or whatever is determined reasonable. And the first one would be that I move that in addition to the requirements specified in Ohio Revised Code 731.21 and 731.25 that require villages to publish adopted ordinances and resolutions in a newspaper of general circulation, that the village clerk is hereby directed to post the full text, not just a summary, to the village website within 90 days of passage, and that it remain there until such time as it is published by the American Legal Publishing Corporation. And Chris, please correct anything.
That's all good, but do you want to say published by a publisher as approved by the council? Just so that we don't get locked into.
No, I think that's very good. It's just.
Other than that, it's fine.
Okay. Pretty much as Mr. Moore amended it for me.
Publisher to be chosen by council.
Yeah.
That way we can shop price.
Yes. Although the publisher mentioned is our current publisher, but we haven't done anything, nothing on there is relevant past 2013.
Does Steve make a motion to do that?
Yes, I made a motion.
Second by Randy. All in favor? Okay. Let's do it by roll. And did you hear anything, Mrs. Dagger? Mrs. Dagger? Yes. Mr. Gardner?
Yeah, it goes back.
Yes. Mr. Dorsey? Yes. Mr. Smith? Yes. Mr. Staton?
Yes.
And Ms. Rhodes? Yes. Ordinance is passed.
All right, now the second item I have is I move that the full agenda and full text of any proposed ordinances be publicly posted to the village website 48 hours before any council meeting unless such ordinance falls under the Ohio rules as an emergency. Correct that one for me. That's good? Okay.
Yeah, so we have a first by Mr. Staton, second? Second. By roll? Did you hear that? Mr. Owens, did you hear all that? I did. I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Mrs. Zager? Yes. Mr. Gardner? Yes. Mr. Dorsey? Yes. Mr. Smith? Yes. Mr. Staton?
Yes.
And Mr. Owens? Yes.
And the third one is, kind of has to do with something that Mr. Moore's already corrected. I move that we direct the village administrator to prepare a request of proposals or RFP to obtain an estimate within 60 days for the cost of bringing the publishing and public access to Batavia Village ordinances up to date and to ensure that ordinances are published no less than annually.
That's a motion by Mr. Staton. Do I have a second? Second. By roll. And everybody heard all that? Just want to make sure. Mrs. Zager? Yes. Mr. Gardner? Yes. Mr. Dorsey? Yes. Mr. Smith? Yes. Mr. Staton?
Yes.
Mr. Owens? Yes. Ordinance is passed.
Now, I have one that's more of a question for Mr. Moore. This has to do with ordinance 1560-26, the annexation petition that was filed, that we tabled last month. If you could kind of fill us in on the procedures and more accurately, what happens if we don't take it from the table?
So once it comes back from the county, which it has, village council has 120 days to take action. That would be April, I believe it's 12th. If no action is taken by council as of that date, it would effectively pass. It's sort of a, so it would effectively pass.
The ORC that I found said that it does not pass. I assume that there's legal precedent that says I'm wrong.
Yes, there is, and I will provide it to you. I don't have it handy, didn't know we were having this question tonight. But after 120 days, should no action be taken by council, it would pass. Council then therefore has really three choices: take no action, bring it off the table and vote it yes or no. Those are the other two actions. And again, this is in response to a type 2 annexation, correct?
That is correct. It's
Yes.
type 2.
You could take it off the table, table it 120 days is the clock. So it's the fact that if no action is taken, it is deemed to have passed. Yes, you can table it again. We could. No, sir. From the date it's returned from the county. It's a hard 120-day clock.
All right. Thank you, because I kind of wondered with this, section 709.04, it's dated March 27th, 2002, so I kind of figured that what I was getting from the state website might be out of date, particularly with respect to type 2 annexations. That's why I asked Mr. Moore to clarify this.
And once that information is provided, Mr. Staton, can you provide it to everyone? All the council? Please?
Absolutely.
So everybody has the same information. Any other?
Will we have a meeting before that date? Will we have another meeting before the,
What's presented is to accept it in or not to accept it into the village. That's it, period, end of discussion. It's a harsh decision based upon action taken by prior council. You're asking a lawyer, when can a lawsuit be filed? The answer is, anytime a decision is made, a lawsuit can be filed. And I'm not trying to be flip, but to answer your question is absolutely, there could be litigation filed.
There aren't any other.
Type 2 annexations stand and rise on their own. And if they've met the requirements, that's the only consideration, if they've met the requirements.
Brian, and I also believe this is one of the items that King Geis publicly stated, that there are no abatements or anything tied to these properties. This is, I believe, the property that the motion to provide services was on. Correct. And that's correct, and I believe that the ordinance, either one of the ordinances that I was looking at actually specified that he had to be current on his property taxes. So that would be a question for Mr. Moore about how that affects the approval or not of this.
That's something I would review and provide an opinion on. That's not a off-the-cuff type of answer.
So how do we, if you guys won't have a meeting before that 120 days is up, how is the public going to be informed on your decision and how you?
My client will be informed. I leave things to my client at that point.
Anything else from council? Okay. This is my portion of this meeting. Number one, we mentioned the 250 meeting. Oh, by the way, thank you for your questions. Sorry. We mentioned the 250 meeting. I just wanted us to mention there are some people that actually have donated. I don't have the amounts. Yeah, if you just give the amounts. The Eastern Cincinnati Aviation,
1,000,
Sporties,
1,000,
Oxford Gas.
5,000.
So those are currently, and I just want to give applause for those people who gave. Thank you so very much for them to give us those monies for the celebration of our 250 for our America. I also want to it just came to me about what we also talked about the school. There's a bridge here in the village, and I did mention the bridge. I first had the epiphany to, I thought that it would go to a memorial to a fallen officer that's given his life for our county. But I have not, I think that is not, since we already have 32 that is already dedicated in his name, which is an honor. I just want to say thank you to the family for allowing us, for them to doing that. But I just want to make sure the bridge that we drive past every day, it's just a bridge. I'd like to, and I actively asked the school board if they could actually help us name. Remember, it's all about involvement and to bring people into that symbiotic relationship. I mentioned that symbiotic relationship with people. And they were going to try to get together, and I'll resend an email out just to remind them about coming up with the students, maybe making it a student, the students come up with a name. I know in the past I've mentioned just to see what the kind of names that they can come up with. I just wanted to make sure you know that. I also wanted to mention and if it's all right with the council, to move ahead to get a hold of Claremont County College. We have lost over a couple years, we've lost touch with them. I know we had met with them about the sign that is on College Drive. They had given us an amount that they said they would like to donate to that sign. And then all of a sudden something happened, and I just want to revisit that with them. And of course, this would have to be agreed with them, but to somehow, and I've talked to Chip about this, if you allow us to contact them and have a meeting, and if any of the board members want to be there, and if there's somebody now that wants here that's sitting on the council currently, to raise your hand or want to be there with us, that would be great. I'd rather have you there than not. But just to let them know that that sign needs to be theirs. We have our, basically they're bordered with us. Well, they are in our midst. So I just want to make sure that they know they are appreciated again. And just to try to let them know that that sign, if it's all right with the council, to let that sign be used by them. And if it's possible, if we can use it for some occasions, but again, just start that conversation again, because that conversation was lost in somewhere. So I just didn't know if that was okay with the council, just to start conversations with them. Have at it.
No, I think so.
Have at it. And is there someone on council or two people on council, like today's school board meeting, that want to come on and?
I mean, I'd be happy to help.
Okay.
I'd be happy to help.
Okay.
Mayor, I did have a question, though, on the bridge that you were talking about.
Yes, sir.
This is just, do we own the bridge, or does the state own the bridge? Do we have the rights to name the
It's
bridge?
under our auspices, if I remember that's correct, Chip, Mr. Stewart?
What was the question?
About our bridge, that's our bridge. It's in our,
It's a state bridge, isn't it, Wayne?
it's the state of Ohio, but we're allowed to have name recognition on it if we want it.
I just thought we should find out about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
And then also, I just wanted to remark about the 250. I know that the current business in the village was going to represent and have a mural placed onto their business. That has not happened. They said something has come up, and we are looking to possibly getting a hold of the railroad. I will. And possibly getting a hold of the railroad, Mr. Stewart, and I think Mr. Stewart has been trying to get that.
Yeah, I
Yes,
did,
we-
Mayor, I did get a hold of the right people at the railroad. They're actually based out of Jacksonville, Florida. I sent them kind of a mock-up of what we were looking to do there, and they are talking to their powers that be about the approval for that.
And is it correct, Mr. Wayne, didn't we paint that before? But they let us paint it before, so I don't see why they wouldn't let us paint it again. I know, I know that look down. I understand.
Yeah, painting on that would definitely be an improvement to the way it
Yes,
looks right now.
to what we have. And I think, Mike, did you had said something to that to nature too?
I'm sure Mr. Smith, Wayne, remembers that we went through all of that when we had them. They allowed the village to do the train trestle. That was painted by the village. And we had to go through and get permission from the railroad and everything else, correct, Wayne? So I would assume that it's something that could probably be done. But you would have to contact, obviously, Norfolk and Southern. I don't care who does it, ain't me.
No, it isn't.
So the question is procedurally, should a vote wish to be taken, when does it have to come off table? It can happen the moment before you take a vote. So you could. Correct. That's correct. And at that meeting, you could take it off the table and then vote. So I'm saying it can all happen at the same meeting. There has to be a meeting to do that, yes. Does that answer?
Didn't you say the clock runs out April 14th?
I believe the clock runs out on the 12th. Our next meeting is the 13th. So there is a one-day difference.
Here, I'll answer your question. In 120 days, it becomes part of the village, regardless of what we do. If we vote no against it, we will get sued and we will lose because of what the past council has done. We cannot get out of it without a lawsuit. And per our legal advice, it's a lawsuit that we're going to lose. So it would be a waste of money. If it came to us with the ability to be able to stop it legally without any repercussions, we could do that. The problem is with the type 2 annexations, when they file them, we really don't have much to say.
So, is the decision from the previous council that you guys have to do with only the approval of it to send it to the county, which then was also forced into approving it? Is that what you're saying, just a mere decision?
Yeah. Yes.
What are details
there's no abatements, no promises made to them, no nothing. It's just, they become part of the village and that's it. This council was against it. Again, I'll speak for myself, but it was done beforehand and we can't stop it without legal action. No, it absolutely wasn't worth it.
No, he means if
Oh,
we were
to
to
sue them?
oppose it.
If we, but he's already got approval, Beach does, from the FAA that he can put up as high as 11-foot building and higher ones in the back. That is from the FAA. I've seen those things. So again, it's a lawsuit we're not gonna win, and the money portion of it is more ineffective for us to fight them than it is just accept it. And again, I can't speak for all the council, but we can sure hold to what they do on those property through our zoning and stuff to what they do.
Yeah, hold on, Brian, can I just say something real quick before I'm sorry, get that. So I think Mr. Staten did this, and he made sure that this happened. So whatever goes to zoning, right, has to come back now to here, to be voted on. And if it's something that this council, which I don't think they would allow them to do anything that's against the FAA, if they don't want that, they can restrict anything. Is that correct? Can this council, I'm just asking you a legal question, sir. Can this council say anything when it has to do with zoning and not allowing or allowing something to happen?
Yeah. What we're working on.
Let me clarify it. Does this council have the ability to tell the FAA how to run the FAA? The answer is no. We have the ability to pass zoning. Our zoning, however, will never trump the FAA.
I think, Brian, there is a letter that you can read. Yeah.
You know, but I believe, to my knowledge, I believe he did. He presented everything that he presented to the village, to the township. Probably because the same reason why this council would have, because it wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
It does absolutely nothing for the village of Batavia, and I'll say it in a public meeting, whether people like it or not. The fact of the matter is, they went after those properties because their ultimate goal was to take the airport. And this council has no intentions of going after the airport or anything like that. So it's out there, that's what I believe previous council's ultimate part was. And again, those two properties do absolutely nothing for the village of Batavia. So they should have never been annexed, but that was a council before us, so now we have to deal with the mess.
Brian, Brian, when this came up back on the motion to provide services, it was proposed as an emergency. I was the only member that voted no to the emergency. When the vote came through to approve the services, despite advice of counsel at the time telling me that I couldn't, I voted no to it then. I understand from listening to the commissioner's testimony, I fully understand her frustration with wanting to be able to say no to something and having not just your legal counsel, but the state telling you you can't say no to it. And I understand your frustration, but as far as pushing this to a lawsuit with Mr. Moore, I don't think that's a good use of public funds when I don't think we'd have, I think he would advise us that we don't have much chance of winning a lawsuit on this.
If we can pick this back up at the next meeting, you'll have, no, we have another meeting coming up, the 20, the town hall. Yeah, you'll have all the time. Yeah. No, that's not what it's for. Yeah, that's why we're doing this. Correct. Okay.
We really want to hear from the community and we want to hear ideas.
Correct.
We know what the complaints are. Now, we want somebody to say, hey, I'd like to have this, or I want to go this way. I think you guys should be looking in this direction.
Sure. I have a ordinance, is it all right if I do that? Okay, I have a ordinance, is everyone, just want to make sure everyone's ready? Yes. All right. A matter of, this,
and then we're put into the same parts of it with it.
I don't want to put the township on the spot at this point, because all I want to just remind you is that this is a different council, and I don't think this council will be willing to do anything out of the ordinary that the township wouldn't allow them to do. And I'm not saying, I'm not talking for them, but I've already seen what is going on, and why Karen's here, and you don't have to say anything, but I just want to make sure you know that whatever we're going to be doing, you'll be informed. And it's not, like I said, this is the way, the path, the way in the future is going to be here. And as far as I know, that's how I look at it. And that's why you're here tonight. So I just wanted to make sure.
Stay in planning and zoning and be able to just be approved by, planning and zoning will no longer have the final approval.
This body will, which has never happened before. But I don't mean to, we can do ad infinitum at this currently. Please bring this back up. I hope you're going to be here for the next meeting, which is, I'll say it's on I didn't read, the 27th or 23rd. And it'll be on our electronics. So that's Monday, March 23rd is a town hall. So please be here and ask those same questions again. And Mr. Albright be here, and anybody else would like to be here. Where was I? Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I apologize. So this is a matter of new business. So I have in front of me ordinance 156326, Village of Batavia ordinance. Do I read it verbatim?
No, you just.
Okay. I'll just go ahead and, whereas, according to the hiring of Chip Stewart as village administrator for the Village of Batavia, whereas Ohio Revised Code 735-271 authorizes the mayor to appoint the village administrator with the advice and consent of the legislative body, council of the Village of Batavia. And that whereas the Village of Batavia has the solicitor applications for the positions of the village administrator, and whereas the Village of Batavia, its mayor and the council desire to hire Chip Stewart as the village administrator, and whereas the mayor and the Village of Batavia has appointed Chip Stewart as the village administrator of the Village of Batavia with the advice of council of the Village of Batavia, and whereas the council of the Village of Batavia, Claremont County, also desires the consent to the appointment of hire Chip Stewart as a village administrator in the Village of Batavia. Now we're therefore be obtained at the council of the Village of Batavia, Claremont County, Ohio, Section 1. Chip Stewart is hereby appointed hire village as a village administrator of the Batavia. Section 2, the terms of appointment of hiring Chip Stewart as a village administrator are hereby approved by the village council pursuant of the contract negotiated with the village in a form substantially similar to the attached Exhibit A. Section 3, it is found that determined that all formal actions of the council concerning the relations of the adoption of the ordinances has been taken in the open meeting or meetings of this council, and of any committees that resulted in such formal action, their meetings are open to the public in full compliance with the legal requirements, including without limitations, this is set forth to the section of 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? By roll? Okay. Let me go back to rolls here. I apologize. Just want to, Mrs. Zager? Yes. Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Dorsey?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Staten?
Okay.
And Mr. Owens?
Yes.
Okay. Congratulations, Mr. Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I appreciate the nomination and I look forward to working with this council and following their direction to continue to improve the Village of Batavia. Appreciate your,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And we're to a point here, I'm sorry, Mr.
Oh, I'm sorry, go on, Mayor.
Other issues, considerations, and concerns of the village?
Just real quick, Mayor, it occurred to me, when you were talking about America 250 and receiving donations, should someone wish to make a donation, where would we go? Who would we call? What would we do?
there is a page on our website. I don't know, Karen, have you gotten anything up on yours yet for that? Okay. Yeah, there's a section for the America 250 on our website, and it explains what they can do to make the donations.
Thank you. I direct my office to send something. I just wanted to know, and I thought it'd be good for everyone to hear how to do it.
Thank you.
We're going to shoot some fireworks off from school property. This is bring me back to my grade school days.
There you go.
That was America 200.
I was going to say, I'm sure they can contact Karen or the village, and we would make sure that we would happily take their donation, so.
Thank you, Karen. Committee meeting reports. Tuesday, March 17th, 7 PM, Zoning and Planning Committee. Monday, March 23rd, 7 PM, the Town Hall. Wednesday, March 25th, 5 PM, Annual CRA meeting, which, just to let you know, council, I still have to do an at-large. I think I need one. Is that correct? One or two? I think that's one person I need at-large. And I do have someone in mind. I can also send that person to you too as a recommendation. Tuesday, March 26th at 7 PM, Finance and Budget meeting. Then Monday, April 13th, 7 PM is a regular council meeting.
Mayor, also, the 16th, we have fire board meeting.
16th,
Yeah, I'll tell you what time, hang on.
5 o'clock probably, sir, isn't it?
I think it's 5. Yes, 5 PM.
We'll try to get that onto our sign also. I do have one question. Mr. Owens, how did the cemetery meeting go, sir? For your first meeting?
The cemetery board did meet. We had a couple of administrative tasks that we were able to complete the next day, so the membership has been updated. Signature cards are on file with the bank, and the certificate of deposit, so that the right people are named on the board. That was the gist of the action that was taken in that committee.
Thank you, sir. And then, Mr., I did get for year ends 31/2025, I got the year cash basis annual finance report from Mr. Schinkel, and it's a fantastic report. He does actually a very good job at what he does every year. I just want to say thank you to him for putting that out. Questions and comments from the council?
Yes, let's go into executive session.
Executive session, so go ahead, sir. Do we have a motion to go?
So moved.
I need a second, please.
That's executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 122.21, G3, to meet with legal counsel to discuss pending and imminent litigation.
And that is by roll. Mrs. Zager? You're good. I just want to make sure you hear it. We're going to go into executive session. Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Dorsey?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Staden?
Yes.
And Mr. Owens?
Yes.
Okay. I typically, unless the council wants him there, because of his being paid, not paid, and now it's up to the council and the finance department, finance too. I'd have to ask them if they're willing to do that. So, and I don't think you're not going to be here, sir?
I will not be here.
And he will not be here. But, again, and I don't mean to take up your time, this is something totally different that's never been done before, that I've always wanted to have done, but it just never happened. So I just want to make sure you know that. And I'm glad to see it happen.
We're in executive.
No. Yes, sir. Thank you. I think I'm all good to go.
you don't have to, we just call it, right? Somebody moves to come back in, and we. Somebody moves, and if I roll.
We'll put everybody in order next week.
Council, you ready?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to, motion to come back out of the executive session.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Mr. State, second. By roll, Mrs. Zager? Yes. Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Dorsey? Yes. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Staten?
Yes.
Mr. Owens? Yes. Time back out of.
9:14.
Yes, 9:14. That can't be right. At 9:14. Okay, next.
We need a motion to go to executive session. Motion to go to executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22 G8 for economic development.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr.
Smith.
Smith.
Smith, second. Second. And the second, by roll, Mrs. Zager? Yes. Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Dorsey? Yes. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Staten?
Yes.
And Mr. Owens? Okay. We're going back into executive session at 9:15.
There you go. Really? Really? Man, that's lawyer time.
We like discounts.
this way this morning at 10 o'clock.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. She
Not
cranky.
getting,
Me, I'm making pizza.
Oh, yeah, you're in
just
trouble.
haven't taken your happy
You're in
pills
trouble.
yet.
All right, Scott. We're done.
I need a motion to come back out of executive session.
So move.
Ms. Randy and Mr.
I'll
Gardner.
second it.
Okay, by roll. Mrs. Zager? Yes. Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Dorsey?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Staten?
Yes.
And Mr. Owens? Yes. I'm out of this 9:46.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
And at that point, no other questions for the council. Motion to adjourn?
So be it.
Motion approved. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We are
I'm doing that for you.